Death be not proud.
That's it. Go ahead and run! Run home and cry to mama!
Listen up, you ignorant pigs. Put down your crack pipes and your beer bongs. It's time for the Holy Diver Show. On today's show, we have using a to-do list to get your projects done, and a little showcase to show you the wide array of things, different things that you can do when you use a to-do list. After that, we have shopping at the FLGS. The habit is gone. My hobby time is habitual. The solo wargamer. GenCon will shame the unvaccinated attendees. Stay tuned for that. That is the fourth segment in the video. I will just let that play. That's about 9 minutes long total. And it'll show you the breakdown of what GenCon is going to do at their convention versus vaccinated, unvaccinated. He called it an apartheid system. I agree. Then my thoughts on the subject matter at hand. Anyway, we start off today with using a to-do list. And you know, what I found is that this little crumpled up piece of paper here is a very powerful tool. It is a very powerful tool. On this first one that I made, I just wrote down the projects that I had that were opened and that I needed to get done. And those projects were 16 peltists, 12 Roman archers, the Confederates, which did take forever, the epic scale Confederates, 4 Macedonian cavalry, one Alexander the Great, a cavalry repair job, 4 mechs, a Tau basing project, an orc shaman and a goblin shaman, a Scottish cavalry test model, 10 spider riders, and then 14 black knights rebased, 3 werewolves, and cavalry fill bases, and there were 3 of those. So I started working on different projects. Once these Romans were done, they were kind of at the top of the list. Things started to fall into place a little bit easier for me. And then I moved over to the Macedonian peltists. I did not do these things in order, but and the last thing that was on this original list were the Confederate epic scale models. I bought 1 box, completed it, just to see if I like it. I don't know if I'm going to do another box. I might, it's about sampling things and stuff like that. And then I had a repair job that I had to do. My last game that I played with the Ranger broke one of the lances, as usual. It fell out of the guy's hand, and I had to do a repair job there. 4 mechs that my friend Creature Feature has been bugging me to paint, and then just other things that I had opened. So I worked, and every time I crossed something off, I got a big dick feeling sense of accomplishment. I'm like, oh, that's gone. And then before I knew it, I crossed off everything off of this list. I had added a few more things, like there's 12 mega knobs that are being built. They're not on the list yet. I've got a Macedonian command, and then finally when I was tired of looking at this ugly piece of paper, the last thing I crossed off were the Confederates. And I made myself a new list. So we're going to go through and cross off the things that I did on the new list. I added the Spider Riders because they were actually done this weekend. So they were in at number 1. Okay, that's something that I'm crossing off right there. Alright, the 75 millimeter bolt action USMCs, US Marines howitzer team. We're going to cross that off too. Alright. 5 Black Knights. A buddy of mine gave me some Black Knights, and 5 of them were built, and so I said, let's build these guys and see what comes. So I painted them up just like the ones that I have, and I have 5 more that I'm going to paint, but I am going to buy another box because, if I don't want to leave myself at 25, I might as well have 30. So I'll have to buy one more box, but that's okay. We're going to cross off the Black Knights. They were number 4. Table number 1 and number 2. Now I can tell you now that I just painted a table fresh today. Another table like this, modular in 3 pieces, painted it brown, went down, spent $34 at the hardware store, got a disposable roller, got a disposable paint palette, and some stir sticks. You know, I spent 34 bucks, bought a gallon of paint, used about, I want to say half a gallon maybe to paint this up, and then I prepped the other one, and I took Elmer's glue to the sides to seal that off, and I'm ready to paint the sides. I will probably do that next week. That one will be, I'm going to put the sand on it, and then I'm going to paint it, and that one will be done, because I'm hoping that I can find time to finish the dry brushing and get the grass on the table, table 1 this week. So table 1, table 2, 2 forest flats. These are my brand new ones. I am making I plan to make 1 more modular table. Everything is going to have uniform terrain, kind of. These ones are bigger forest flats, bigger area. So I did 2 forest flats. Ooh, Dusty, still got the static falling off of those. So we're gonna cross those off. Some modular ruins. I have some 1x1 pieces that I'm going to stick some Osgiliath ruins on, and I'm going to paint those up for extra terrain, and that will be 1 table with the ruins and stuff like that. And then I have 9 extra Marines, and I'm hoping my friend the Ranger will be able to glue the foam on top of my hills after he cuts them, and then 2 hills are on that list. Other things that I have pending, the Meganobs and finishing the Spider Riders. So the whole point of this, oh, and I forgot, number 17 on the last list was 3 brand new Werewolves of Badburg. They were in the last Holy Divers show video, so if you want to see what all those undead look like, all those good, if you're a fan of undead, watch that video. That is all there, and that's what it's like to work off of a to-do list. You really do start to put things just out of commission, and my whole point of doing this is that I want to get down to Project Zero once and for all. I do not want to have an open project by September at all. I will still have things that I can paint, build and paint, but I do not want to have an open project. When I get to September, I literally want to have a choice of what direction I go in. I want to either do Scottish Cavalry, Macedonian Hypaspists, or English Civil not English Civil War, 100 Years War English Knights. So I want to have 3 paths that I can go. Don't know which one I'm going to choose, but I just want to have those be my projects. And then, depending on what my winter looks like, how much I work, I want to choose one project. It might be a bolt action project, but a buddy of mine I know will have to help me with that. So, we will cut to the showcase. So I just wanted to showcase everything that I've done on the to-do list so far, and just a range of way different models, from Games Workshop to Battletech to War Games Foundry. These, my friend Anthony, who I have a battle report with, gave me 2 boxes of Black Knights. So when you're given free GW plastic, the best thing you could do is just paint it up. And I even used some of those old school Vampire Count decals and everything on them, and I really like that. Those are the old fighter shields. If you can still get those, you know, they're real good for putting the decal on. He suggested the gray to go with the blue and everything, and that's how those shields ended up. He said gray would go really good with that color of blue. A Marine Howitzer, that's the test model for my Scottish Cavalry. Thank you, Yankee Wargamer. This is a Shaman that was given to me by Peter Don Carolino. Thank you there. And so these guys were one swath on one line together, these two. The Roman archers right here, these guys were the hardest ones to paint, actually. I dreaded painting these. They were kind of hard. Don't ask me why I struggled with them. I just did. And unfortunately, I still have to paint up 12 more of these guys. Maybe 10 more. I don't know. Oh, it's going to be 12 more because I'll get 12. They come in sets of 6. And I can't just have an additional 6 guys.
And then this is what the Confederate Brigade looks like. Really loving the epic scale. I like the mass. And yes, that is the Confederate flag. I do declare that the South has risen again, and Dixie will march all over that Yankee scum, I do declare. You get a battery of cannons. Somebody tell me in the comments if this is enough to play a game indefinitely. I don't know if I need 2 boxes or just the one. I don't know how many brigades you need. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you got 5 bases equals 1 regiment, and 3 regiments equal a brigade with a battery of cannons. And I really like that. You got almost about 24 inches of guys when you lay these guys out, so you only need a 4x4 to play if you're going to use 2 boxes. I really like that. These are my Macedonian / Greek peltists. I'm going to need another 12 more of these guys to make everything work. I think 12 will round off. There is Alexander the Great and the cavalry, the 4 cavalry that I had to finish. My Cretan archers. I actually call these guys the Hazard Squad because I painted them up in construction colors. I really like what pink does for yellow and orange. Pink is a really good color, so what I did was I spray painted these guys white and I washed them red, which turned them pink. And then for whatever reason, Troll Slayer orange stuck right to that. Washed it with the yellow wash, hit it again with the Troll Slayer, and I got that vibrant orange. And then used a little bit of yellow ink here on these guys, but I still used a pink background. Really good. And then thank you again, Peter Don Carolino, for the goblins. These are the writers only. My friend is actually, he's basing and priming the spiders that these are going to use, so these are all done. But you know, that's quite a wide array of miniatures and everything. If you just use a to-do list, you never know where it will bring you.
And okay, I hope you enjoyed the showcase. We are going to shopping. The habit is gone. Last couple of weeks, I've been trying to get back into wanting to go to the game store, wanting to go to game stores again and see what's there, see what kind of people are there. And I realized something on my last trip. I didn't even go to my usual store, Gajo Games. I went to that one shitty store on State Street just to take a look around because they usually sell the Reaper line. I said maybe I'll pick myself up a Reaper miniature and paint it up because, you know, I like Reaper models and they might have something out of the Bones line that's cool. And they also sell the Reaper sable brushes. So I go in and they've replaced it with Nullzor's dungeon shit, so they don't have the Reaper line anymore. They still had a few Bones Black models, but they didn't have anything worth picking up. And you know, when I was there, I was watching these 3 kids play Magic, and they were barely literate. These boys couldn't bleeping read their own goddamn Magic cards. Now, I didn't say anything, but I'm like, God damn, are these kids in resource or something? What the hell's wrong with them? And, you know, I was just like, and then the last time I was at Gajo, you know, anything that I need has to be ordered. It has to be ordered, and it's not their fault. It's not their fault. It's the plague's fault. I know. We had to shut down the entire country for a bunch of fat piece of shit boomers so that they wouldn't die because they're apparently our greatest resource.
Thanks, Guy. Now, how many of you believe that being overweight or morbidly obese is caused by a genetic predisposition? Show of hands. Well, you're wrong. They're fat, lazy slobs who won't take responsibility for themselves.
It was, you might as well call it their 3rd bailout. Maybe their 4th bailout. It was their 4th bailout. We had to put our lives on hold, buck up chains of supply across everything so that they wouldn't get the coof and die from it. So, you know, and that's another problem. And then, when I knew that Orcs would be getting a book this year, I bought some models for $40K. I bought 4 boxes of Mega Nubs, and these guys, I saved $9.45, $9.45 per box by just going to Walmart.com. So I'm going to ask the question, what do I even need a game store for when anything I want I can get at Walmart.com? Let me tell you something else. If I want a Dominion box set at a reasonable price, I don't even need to go to a game store. There are 2 hobby stores that I know of that I can just go. They're just straight up model shops that I can just go and pick up the box right now if I wanted to. As a matter of fact, I can go get the Dominion box set right now if I wanted to, and probably make an extra bill on selling each one for an extra $100 on eBay there. But I'm not going to do that. Even though I have the money, it's not worth my time to drive out there and buy all 4 of those boxes and then sell them on eBay for a higher profit. It's just not worth my time. Not to mention I can get the Cursed City boxes from those model shops. I'm not going to say which ones they were because I want the motherfucking option of. Sorry about my language. So, I do want the option of. I've got the money. I might as well, flip that shit. Flip that shit. So I noticed that I'm not excited by going to the store anymore. The FLGS or whatever might be going on at the hobby store, doesn't matter which one, doesn't excite me. I went into Penis Head's game store, like I said, I used to go around from store to store and watch people, and unfortunately, it was just, yuck. Why even go? The bathrooms most of the time look like shit. The people there are shit. I looked around at at Dickhead's store for a little while before the employee even noticed me. And I was really digging through the boxes, and he didn't say anything, and then after 5 minutes of me searching, he's like, "Can I help you find anything?" after he's done with what he's doing, which was just basically watching YouTube videos. And I said, "Well, no, it's clear that you don't have Black Knights. Do you have Black Knights? What we have is out." So that was the interaction there. It wasn't like, "Can I order you some?" or there was zero customer service from that guy.
Can I interest you in a butt fucking? We call it a butt fucking.
He was completely autisticing out on some YouTube videos at the moment, watching big bad shiny 40K videos or whatever the bleep these guys do. So, and it's like if I want Scorched Brown, I'm on a waiting list. I will go and I will buy it at the store, but it's like I can get. This is a new color that I'm in love with. Battlefield from P3. I can just go out and buy this P3 for some reason. It's still there on the shelf, and I actually really like this color. It's a really good brown, and it's like, why even bother if especially if I want to play more, if I want to make some more Orc 40K purchases. What do I need the game store for? I'm going to save $9 if I have a $63 box. I'm going to pay $9. I'm going to pay $53.55 on the box if I just buy it at Walmart and save that $9. That's a lot of money. And I gotta pay full price at the game store, the store where they hate me, the stores where I'm banned on Fridays, or the stores where I'm not even allowed to go anymore. You see, the problem with the hobby is that it's not for me. It's supposed to be for everyone. But I will tell you that this hobby has never and will never be for poor people. If you do not have a minimum of at least $5K in the bank, you shouldn't even step foot in the hobby store, because if you don't even have that much in the bank saved up, there is something wrong with you. There is something wrong with you. And I don't really care who this hurts. Everybody's different, but shit, you can't save up $5,000. Oh, the economy's in shambles. And I know it is. I took my mother to lunch the other day, and it cost $33 for 2 burger and fry meals. She got onion rings with her euro. I had fries with mine, and we ordered 1 drink. I had some root beer, and then she filled up the drink with water and took the cup with her, and that was $33. And that wasn't even a high-end restaurant. That was like an Apollo burger level restaurant, but I liked the restaurant. And that's what, they're charging you for the sauces now. I'm going to let you know that. Yes, the economy is in shambles. $33 for a 2-person lunch. Or maybe I'm just a boomer and I'm like, that's like the average cost. You know, and I'm just so out of touch with time that, you know, I mean, I know it took, well, granted, last time I went, it took me like $12. So I don't know what's happened, but I do know that they get the chicken that is used in the chicken gyro from a local place, and that's why it's just so good. So maybe they have to pay the local farmer more for the chicken that they use because it comes right out of a slaughterhouse locally for chicken. So yeah, definitely, if you can get local chicken, get local chicken. I will tell you that now. So if I'm paying a premium on that, that's okay, and I'm going to shut up now. But, you know, I mean, it's like last time I took a chick out on a date, that was $81. $81! She ordered margaritas on my tab, and I was pissed. I was pissed. So, you know, I mean, I'm cheap, you know. So I'm going to pocket that $9.45 per box. So if I want to get some of the new orc weapons like the Boom Daka Snaz wagons or the Kill Rocket trucks or something like that, the buggies, I can just buy them at Walmart.com. I'm going to probably save $9 a box. That's better than 10%. That's better than 15% last time I checked. And if I want paint, I can just get it on eBay. I really don't care what the cost of paint is because I'm going to do that shit anyway. So, you know, and again, you have poor store employees, poor customer service. Most of these places are owned by dickheads, or it's not their fault that they don't have something in stock. It's the shutdown's fault. It's, you know, people not working. You know, you never think about that guy who sits in a warehouse all day, scans barcodes for small packages, and then puts all those packages onto a cart after putting them in plastic baggies or small boxes, and then ships them out. You know, you don't think about that guy, but with that guy not working, nothing's coming in. All that stuff, you know, I was there one day, a shipment came in, all that stuff comes in via UPS. And if there's no one there to pack those UPS packages, the entire line of supply is going to break down, and it's not the game store's fault, you know. So, you know, on that note, I just don't want to go to the game store anymore. I have everything that I want here. I mean, sure, there might be an event I want to attend, but what are they going to ask me to do? Is this going to be one where they're going to violate HIPAA laws? Have you been vaccinated, young man? Which will bring us into another topic later in this video. So, you know, I just don't know what to say. You know, I say I can get every 40K or every need I want from Games Workshop from Walmart.com, and that's where I stand, you know, and you know, so screw Games Workshop and the stores that sell them, you know, and if I want something else, because again, most game stores do not carry the primers that I use, and the supply line is so messed up that I can't even get the primers that I used. I can't get Tester's Dull Coat. I can't, and that's why his arm is a little bit frosty, because I don't have my normal spray. I gotta use that can that I have sparingly. It's the same stuff, but I think the stuff that they use for models is a different formula. I got Rust-Oleum Clear Coat, but the stuff they use for models is definitely a different formula, because I do have a little bit of noticeable frost on this one guy. Everybody else looks great. But his arm is a Bretonian arm. I put a Bretonian lance on him, so it must have caught more of the misting. You know, and everything I want is gone. So that's that. You know, I'm not going to get too much further into that because I think I've said everything there is. And let me know in the comments if you're having the same issue. You know, I consider most of my audience members to be above the 85 IQ range. Everybody else in the countries, they've all slumped down to about 80. You know, so... And I don't put much stock on IQ, but yeah, I will tell you that yeah, it's just, you go upstairs, it's the same shit, bunch of autists that stink playing 40K, and nothing's painted, there's nothing to look at, you know. And it's just easier to play at home, and I really think that these lockdowns, especially if they do it again, will put gaming back into the basement. Gaming will go back to the basement in a big way, and it won't be who has the biggest, most competitive 40K channel anymore. It'll be who has the best presentation, which will still unfortunately be the bigger channels, but they only do one thing. Most of them are a one-trick pony. Alright, what else we got here? My hobby time is habitual. Well, this should be fun. My friend asked me a very weird question a while back when we were playing a game of fantasy, which will be up on a battle report. It will be Empire versus Vampire Counts. That's where I took that army out. If you follow me on Instagram, there are a couple of photos, and you got a surprise ending to that, you know. You don't know what's going on in that battle, but I've given you some really good photos of that battle on my Instagram. And so he asked me if I get any joy out of painting at all. Truth is, I don't. I do not derive any joy out of painting models anymore. The problem with me is that I have truly become a Dark Lord of the Sith. Everything that I do down here is habitual. I am a habitual hobbyist. A lot like a guy who plays guitar too much, you know. He'll get up in the morning, he'll probably dick around on his guitar for 15 minutes before going to work. Even though he knows he shouldn't, he's still picking up that guitar and he's strumming a few chords, listening to himself, and it's really in his mind the entire time. That's where painting is with me. My hobby time and everything that I do is very habitual. I like to be working on something. I don't like to watch TV. But I've also picked up some other hobbies that I would like to dominate my hobby time just a little bit. You know, so that's why I want to go down to Project Zero, so I have a little bit more time to do those other hobbies. One hobby that I picked up is I've started to learn Japanese. I am so bored that I am picking up a third language. I do speak some Spanish, but I haven't used it. If I wanted to get back into Spanish, I could use YouTube as a learning tool to expand my mind on some Spanish, but I've chosen Japanese. And why did I choose Japanese? I chose Japanese because Transformers, Super Mario Bros. 3, these are people that I know almost nothing about, but yet somehow they've touched my life in very intimate ways. So, you know, I picked up a few vocabulary phrases so I could say, Keisatsu ni demo kudasai, call the police now. I think that's, or Ishai onegai shimasu, I need a doctor. And I'm picking these up, and I've been at it for about 4 weeks. And I do vocabulary for about 2 hours a day. 1 hour of that is verbs, and then an hour of that is just words, and then most of the time I'm trying to learn phrases. And so it's really starting to stick with me, but if I want to go beyond what I'm doing now, I'm going to need a little bit of time in the evening to learn kanji and make more flashcards, which I have not been doing. The other hobby that I picked up is drawing. The next step for me to becoming a better painter is I need to be able to draw. I need to be able to up my freehand game. So I've been drawing, and if you're interested in what I've been drawing, every drawing I finish, I put it up on Instagram so that you can see it. That's where it goes for me. If I want to up my freehand game, I have to be able to draw. But you know, I don't get a lot of joy out of it. You know, it's just something that I do. When musicians get together, they don't really need a song. They can kind of create one. They can jam for a second, you know, and work it out bit by bit. So the hobby is something that is completely habitual for me. It's something that I will always do because I've got nothing better to do with my time. And I've also picked up reading some books. I just finished Victor Davis Hanson's A War Like No Other this summer, and I've also done Bust Hell Wide Open, which is a Civil War book all about Nathan Bedford Forrest. I advise anyone to read that, by Samuel Mitchum. Bust Hell Wide Open. And this guy, he was a badass. A complete and total badass. A genius. One of America's hidden gems as far as military geniuses go. You know, a true frontiersman, a lot like our Jim Bowie. If we were a slightly different country and we weren't so racially sensitive, he would be a very big folkloric style character, because some of the feats that he accomplished, assaulting with cannons, chasing people with cannons, that's some pretty heavy stuff there, We're being attacked from behind. Split up and charge in both directions, and it worked. Really good book. He's also written some books on Ramble that I want to read. He has like 2 books titled The Desert Fox. So Samuel Mitchum, Bust Hell Wide Open, and A War Like No Other by Victor Davis Hanson. I just completed those. I'm rereading A War Like No Other, which it covers the Peloponnesian War and everything. So, I'm trying to expand my mind and use my time wisely, because I don't have a lot of it. And of course, I'm still working out. If I don't have to be to work at 6 in the morning, I am in my garage lifting weights, or I am at the gym using... the best part about Jacob's Ladder, I'll put a picture up. Jacob's Ladder is the one exercise that you can just roll out of bed and ride onto. No injuries, no fuss. If you've got a bad back, I suggest you find a gym where they have a Jacob's Ladder, or if you've got some money, spend $4,000 and get yourself a brand new Jacob's Ladder for your own personal use, and it will change your life. Probably the best equipment that I use right there. And like this morning, I will have worked out all 7 days this week. I got up, I punched my bag. Yesterday, before I took a nap, had one hell of a dream. Was dreaming about chicks, and then got up, came down here, and I got over to the to-do list again, and boom, busted out the cannon, busted out the forest flats, busted out the rest of the goblins, got these Macedonian command models ready, because I've decided to keep my Macedonian phalangites that I just painted. I'm going to do one more unit, so I have 6 units of 24 Macedonian phalangites. Then I'll have the Hypaspis on... I don't know where the royalty usually goes. I think it's the right flank in a Greek army. The leaders always go on the honored right flank, but it could be the left. I think it would be on the left, on the unshielded side of the phalanx, where you put the Hypaspists. And then I'm just going to expand my Macedonians, so that's where I'm at. My hobby time is habitual, but I'm looking for other ways to expand my mind around something else, because, I have limitless potential to learn a language when I'm driving my truck at work and everything. I've got nothing better to do. I'm not going to waste that time on watching the news. I'm not going to waste that time on listening to podcasts unless they're some of the content creators that I like. One problem, is when I watch VK, I have to be at my computer or on my couch, casting that to my TV. Everything that he does is very visual. But SoloWargamer, who we're going to get to here in a minute, he does a show. And you can just listen, and that's one that I take with me. Or Alan Smith, sometimes you can just listen to whatever he's doing. Or The Ranger, I'll just listen to him. And I always make sure, whenever I watch any one of the content producers that I am subscribed to, I always make sure I let the video run. Even if I have to do something else, I will just let the video run so that I don't cheat their analytics. I leave a comment and a like, and that's very important. So, without further ado, we are going to watch the video together, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. And this is the 4th segment in the show, which is SoloWargamer 2021 GenCon will shame unvaccinated attendees.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. So most of you follow my channel regularly know I've been kind of taking it upon myself to give you guys breaking news on GenCon and with regards to the coming convention in September for 2021. And so GenCon has just released their June/July health update, where from reading what it says, they've pretty much locked in what they're going to do. Up until this time, they had been kind of implying what they would do, or kind of putting out an ideal of how the convention would go. We had heard things about timed entry. They had indicated that everyone was definitely going to have to wear a mask anytime they were in the convention center. Well, in this new release, Health and Update release, they basically say they've kind of settled on their plans. And to kind of just sum up basically what they are saying now, there are going to be two classes of attendees at GenCon. There will be the vaccinated attendees and the unvaccinated attendees. And basically, in order to distinguish between the two, they are going to literally be handing out wristbands to those who have been vaccinated. As for those who have not been vaccinated, you will be identified by the mask that you will have to wear everywhere you go in the convention center. Now, this is truly, as far as I'm concerned, reprehensible in a free society. That we are going to attend an event, or basically put on an event, and we are going to basically publicly shame individuals who have exercised their right to the sanctity of their bodies and decided that for whatever reason they don't want to take a vaccine. Right? Well, now if you happen to want to attend GenCon, in what is basically a public convention center, they are going to require that you show them proof of your vaccine, i.e. a vaccine passport, or you will not be given a wristband and allowed to walk around the convention center without a mask. Now, I'm going to read a little bit of this to you guys and just kind of sum up, what they are actually saying. So, according to them, it says here that having done a survey, and with all of the dropping cases of COVID and the lowest levels ever, now all of which I would think would mean there's no need for masks or any of that whatsoever. And then further, they say 80% of those that they surveyed have reported being fully vaccinated, and another 5% plan to be vaccinated by convention time. Quote, bravo, GenCon attendees. Having at least 90% of attendees vaccinated is great news and attests to the, quote, wisdom and spirit of our community. Now, the one thing they do not say in here, which I think is so funny, is they do not indicate that this convention is expected to probably have a third of the number of normal attendees. So you can say 90% of a third are going to be vaccinated, whereas for whatever reason, the other 2/3 decided not to come and do your convention at all. But there's no mention of that. Instead, they say, 90% of our attendees, which is basically going to be about a third of the normal attendees. There are still hotel rooms available in GenCon, right? Meaning downtown Indianapolis. But then they go on. That said, given ongoing uncertainty, an event as large and diverse and lengthy as GenCon, it's better for everyone some level of precautions in place. Taking all of these factors into account, we have come up with the following plan for 2021. Mask wearing will be strongly recommended at all times indoors or in crowded areas for all GenCon attendees. Now, when I first read that, I'm like, great, it's recommended, but you got to keep going. Mask wearing will be, quote, required at all times for all unvaccinated persons. Let me repeat. Mask wearing will be required at all times for all unvaccinated persons. If you are vaccinated and prefer not to wear a mask, you may present your, quote, proof of vaccination, quote, and ID at one of our health check-in stations and receive a wrist bracelet indicating that you are vaccinated. If you are wearing a valid bracelet, you are not required to wear a mask at GenCon for the duration of the convention. So now funny, they say because of this, they've decided that we have decided not to implement timed entry to the exhibit hall. And that was one of the things I told you about. If you look at one of my updates, I think it was on the Sunday chat, and I said that timed entry is going to be a big problem. They also mention in here that there will be no exclusives. And again, remember that was something I brought up before this came out. So they said timed entry at the given hall. We're going to read the part about the no exclusives. Keep in mind that there are no limited exclusives this year with our exhibit hall partners. We encourage you to not crowd the halls. Come later in the evening or choose another entrance to avoid crowding. Now, I think this is kind of funny. This is signed by David Hoppe, Hoppe, president at GenCon. So I think this is kind of funny because essentially what they are setting up is a convention where people who, for whatever reason, have chosen not to get vaccinated are going to be denied this little wristband that basically allows them to attend a convention like those who are vaccinated. Because if you are caught without your mask on at all times, if you're not vaccinated, then obviously you're going to be subject to removal, you're going to be subject to being ejected or having your convention badge revoked. Right? So which means now, if you have no mask on, they are going to encourage security or volunteers to walk up and get in your face and say, I need to see your bracelet. You don't have a bracelet on. Right? And I think this is worse than what they were doing before. I told you guys before, I said, there's going to be some problems if they try to do this. Right? Some people do not like people getting up in their face. Right, and there's going to be some problems. So it's going to be bad enough if you, say you come there on day one, you got your mask on all day, you're trying to enjoy yourself. So-called 85% of everybody else is walking around with no mask. All right, so you got your mask on all day, and you're coming out the restroom, and you forget to put your mask back on your face, and all of a sudden you're accosted by some convention personnel talking about, sir, you don't have a, quote, wristband. Where's your wristband? You're not allowed to be in here without a mask, without your wristband. And lo and behold, you go off on them. Like you just really are tired. You've been having trouble breathing. You're not enjoying yourself. And now you get accosted and you just go off. Like you maybe you had no problem wearing your mask, but you go off. Well, I guarantee you they're taking your badge. Right? They're calling security. Right? I already told you one convention, Origins, has already said they're, quote, hiring extra security to monitor everybody. So this is GenCon 2021. They have officially introduced an official apartheid system at GenCon.
You think that high-quality health care should be made available to everybody, regardless of income or ability to pay? Show of hands. You're all wrong. Rich people stay healthy. Poor people get sick and die. That's natural selection.
And we're back. And I would like to throw out a huge shout out to Solo Wargamer. The original clip to this video will be in the description below. Please go over there, rewatch it, and give it a like so that, he doesn't get more hate than he already has for making this video. And, this is YouTube at its best. Whenever I turn on his channel, I'm usually in my truck and I can just listen to what's going on because he'll go through the magazines and he does a pretty good show. And, if it wasn't for amateur content creators, I would not be on YouTube unless I'm using it as a tool to learn something. Other than that, it's become a completely useless platform. A 100% useless platform. And I know I could go to Daily Motion, but what? I go over there, if I had a true 5,000 subscription following, at best, if I were truly lucky, I would 1,000 people would follow me if that were a true number. You got a lot of guys out there like Next Level Painting has 65,000 subscribers, but he's only averaging about 7,000 to 8,000 views a video. A lot of people up their subscriber count, and that just burns my ass when people do that. But he makes a lot of good points and ends it. They have officially turned GenCon into an apartheid system. Remember how I said that you would need your badge, your papers, and your Star of David to go out into the street? That's exactly what they're doing at GenCon. Now, I don't know how many people, on average, attend GenCon. But I can tell you now, I will never attend a GenCon. And not if it's going to be like that. Because I don't want, let's say I do wear a mask. First and foremost, I don't have to tell you shit about my medical history because that violates the HIPAA laws. Oh, but we're going to ignore that law now because it's getting in the way of imposing an apartheid-style system on the vaccinated and unvaccinated, all right? And that's exactly what it is. We're going to have to rewalk HIPAA now because we want vaccine passports. And I told you this would be coming, so fuck you, I was right. Fuck you, I was right. Fuck you, I was right. Except for the Solo Wargamer is able to articulate everything that I'm about to say in a cleaner fashion, which is one of the reasons why I watch him. He works clean. He works clean. I like that. I like his channel. So, so I'll just get into this. 1/3, let's say that GenCon has 1/3 of its attendees. Let's say it had 10,000, and we're just going to round that up to an even 3,500 that show up this year. All of a sudden, they're pulling this apartheid system on this. If you are thinking about going and now you're unsure because of this, don't go. Let's cut the numbers of attendees in half. Get your ticket back. Get your ticket back. Put that number from 3,500 down. Let's have 1,750 people show up at that place. He's already done a video on who's going to be there. Games Workshop's not even going to show up. Wizards of the Coast isn't even going to be there. Who else isn't going to be there? One more big company. I don't think Battlefront is going to be there, and I don't think that WizKids is even going to be there. So what's the point of even showing up if the big heavy hitters in the industry are not going to be there? There's no point. Oh, look, there's plenty of booths that I can go to buy crappy cosplay gear. Wow. I'm impressed, and that's basically what it boiled down to if you watch that video. If I can find it, I will link it in the description below. But let's say I was looking forward to maybe going to Adepticon 2022. If they want to pull this crap, I'm not even going to go. And I can afford to buy a suite in that shithole that is Schaumburg, Illinois. Let me tell you something about Chicago. It is a crap hole. And if Schaumburg is the rich side of town, that is a crap. That looks like somebody took a dump on a lower middle class hellhole and then sent it down to get washed out by the Katrina and then plopped it there. And that is Schaumburg, Illinois. And that's a place where you can't even leave unless you have a car. I have to fly in, unfortunately. If I'm lucky, I might be able to meet a buddy who might show up with a car or something, and we can go around, get pizza, and see the city. And it's an even bigger dump after that. There's really nowhere to go except the convention. And so you're stuck in this whole hotel drinking, what, $25 cocktails? And so when I sit down to have a cocktail, somebody's going to ask me, hey, where's your mask? Where's your vaccine passport? Somebody does that to me, I'm going to beat the shit out of them. I swear to God. If somebody's all over me like white on rice, sticking their finger in my face, I will explode on them. And I'll go to jail. I don't care. Because let me tell you something now. In my state, COVID put court cases 2 years behind. They won't even remember me in 2 years. People be like, what? Really? Isn't there a statute of limitations on assault? Oh, wait, I think there is. It's a lot like beating your wife around here. It's a 2-year statute of limitations where I live. So they're not hearing court cases for 2 years. Yeah, I'll take my chances. Or I'm going to bank on the fact that you do not have $10,000 to hire a white shoe to sue my ass in court for the assault when you're done. Because our justice system is so corrupt that you need money to get the wheels of justice rolling. And the average cost of a white shoe will run you, are you ready for this? $500. If you do not have $500 an hour, not to mention what, $80 an email, you're dead in the water. Most people have been crushed by this pandemic already, and I'm going to wager that they're flat dead broke. Most of them are flat dead broke, and so, I'll take my chances. I really will. What? I get a slap on the wrist and I spend a weekend in jail? Oh boy. That's not going to affect me or my job one bit, because last time I checked, I'm a leatherneck who works out in the construction industry. Do you know how many people have been assaulted in that industry? That's the one place where if you got a problem with another guy and you fight him on the job site, either both of you are getting fired, you're both going to get fired, and then you're going to be rehired about 6 months later. You're going to be rehired about 6 months later because they can't afford to fire anyone. That is where so you're never going to get me, all right? So I'll take my chances. But just that happening, what are they going to do? Last time I checked, they're going to hold me indefinitely in Chicago? No, they don't. They probably don't even have the room. So it's like, if Adepticon wants to pull that shit, pull your ticket, back out of it. Don't show up. I am telling you that this is one nail in the coffin of the convention industry. Comic-Con, it's never coming back. Not if they want to have this shit. Not if they want to give people the business just for the sake of giving them the business on questions that they are not allowed to ask by law. And there are no laws on the books for pandemics. End of story. And none that would not violate HIPAA, if I am correct on that one. But, LVO. Vegas is bringing back the masks. I'm not going to LVO. It's a waste of my time now. First and foremost, you can't even go down to Vegas and relax anymore. Let's be real. It is $35 minimum bet. I guarantee it, because they've had such a slump in business. They've got to find a way to make that money back, and the house always wins. So it's not like I can sit down, enjoy a watered down piece of crap cocktail at a slot machine, and the waitress is going to come by and give me a new one. No, I'll be waiting 3 hours for her to show up before she brings me another free cocktail, if at all. So Vegas is right out. And what it will really come down to is that people like me, people like let's see, another person, smaller content creators, we might actually, who have followings of at least 1,500, we might actually have to together and make our own conventions. And then we're going to gatekeep the idiots out. And that's where this is going. If you've noticed that every niche hobby out there has been infiltrated by these sensitive pricks. And all they do is bitch. Like, I just found out they're making a new He-Man thing, and He-Man has to be a quarter black now so we don't offend the black people. And we got that lawsuit courtesy of Angry Woman.
Get dressed in the morning, I'm triggered. I take a shower, I'm triggered. I get in the car, I'm triggered.
Because Karen reminded us that we need to be racially cool with everything, and it's just little shit like that. We need to slightly change everything to appease everyone. And like I said at the beginning of this video, the hobby is not for anyone. And you know what? And I'm at the point where I don't like it, and I'm about to make my own. Just try and stop me. I'm about to make my own. I may not have the best business sense in the world, but I'm surrounded by people who can do things that I can't. And that's where that will come from. For all you know, we could have a Wendover open because they're so desperate. Or we can go up to Idaho, Elko or something like, Elko, Nevada, and have one over there at a whorehouse instead. We can have it at Nona's. But they shut that industry down right now temporarily because of the pandemic. So it's like, what are you going to do when basically there is that system, when there is an apartheid system? Is it coming? You better hope not. They might bring the lockdowns back. They might bring it back. The Delta variant, we might have to protect the boomers again. And do not underestimate that generation. They are a generation of limp-wristed, piece of shit faggots, and I mean that in the worst possible way. And they will shut the country down again to protect themselves.
I hope you choke on semen, you fucktard! Keep your goddamn game!
And wreck everyone economically, just so that they have another 20 years on Social Security. Cut and dry. Real easy. You're talking about the generation that got 4 big bailouts. The same with GenCon. If they're pulling this mask mandate shit, and you were thinking about going, but now you're unsure because of that, don't go. do not give these people your money. Just like I'm not giving game stores my money anymore because they never really cared about me, and I'm kind of a whale. I can afford to buy whatever I want, and these places have never given one shit about me. I guess I'm not the biggest whale out there, you know? I'm not like, oh, well, please let me get some more of that game store owner cock. Oh, please, quick, we need to get some more dicks up here for this guy to suck. We don't think he's sucking enough. You know, and I don't grease the wheels. I will tell you one thing, I never kiss the ass of another human being. I do not care who that person is. His pants go on the same way mine go on. And you know, and like I said, I can go to Walmart.com. You know, like, this hobby is not for everybody. And when you push guys like me enough, eventually I get with other guys who are like me, who have money. That's the difference. You know, most normies do not have $5,000 in their bank. You know, we get together, we work out a plan, and then we make our own. And that's where this will go. And so, you know, if you want to take attendance at a convention, this is the way to do it. Treat those who do not want to even talk about their medical history. I don't like talking about me medically. I can tell you now, I'll just tell you now that I have not been to a doctor in 20 years. I have not been to a doctor in damn near 20 years except for when I got my surgery done. And that's it. I have not had a checkup in 20 years because I want to be thoroughly surprised, because I want to opt out at some point when I'm no longer young and handsome. And the end comes, I know, I was just a gigolo. Life goes on without me, and I'm no longer handsome. There's nothing for me, you know? So, you know, I need to either be on the Smith & Wesson retirement plan, or because I don't, well, what am I going to do? Chase puss in the old folks' home? No, I mean, old folks' homes are a hotbed of STDs because old people don't care. I don't want to get AIDS in my 80s, even though I wouldn't care. You know, hopefully I don't have to live that long. But no. The solo wargamer articulated himself quite well. It is an apartheid system. And you get used to the new system, right? Because it's important that you go. It's important that you go and be a part of the autistic autard community that loves gaming. And this hobby is just for everyone. I can tell you now that this hobby is not for everyone, and I'm going to use one more example. Look at the 40K couple. Look at those two pieces of dirt. Look where they ended up. They ended up nowhere. They made weekly content. They updated their Instagram posts, thinking that they take the fucking industry by storm on YouTube, and they went absolutely nowhere. They were hobnobbing and jobbing the knobs of mini wargaming and everything. They went up to Canada in the mini wargaming bunker. They spent money to go to Canada. Who in their right mind is going to go and visit that crap hole end of Canada to stay at the mini wargaming bunker? I mean, if I'm going to Canada, I'm going big game hunting, one. Or I'm going fishing off the coast of Nova Scotia, like deep sea fishing or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what there is to do up in the Great White North. Maybe some of my Canadian viewers who still like me and still tune in to the Holy Diver Show can tell me what they have for tourism. But so far, the only good things to come out of Canada in the last 30 years were Rowdy Roddy Piper and Bret Hart. And that's about it. Maybe Dan Aykroyd? I don't know. Rick Moranis? He's hilarious, but last time I checked, he got his ass kicked in Central Park. And nobody even said shit about that. Look it up. Rick Moranis got his ass kicked by some I think Haitians in the middle of Central Park. They beat him up and they stole his wallet, the poor guy. I mean, that shouldn't get you real street cred if you're beating up somebody as small as Rick Moranis and stealing his wallet. But I will give you that the benefit of the doubt that it is a straight up gangster move. Yeah, I'm going to choose this guy because he's little. He's little and he can't fight back. But I don't know. And in any case, as you know, YouTube, you have many features to interact with me. You can like a video, dislike the video, comment or subscribe. And I want to thank every single viewer that tunes in for the Holy Diver Show, because you have been giving me an average of 1,000 views per video, not to mention 100 likes. Don't forget to re-log in, re-comment, and re-like with your other account just to help me out. And don't forget to tune your mother's computer into it too. And then she'll have some eye candy to gaze upon. And stay metal, my friends.
Thanks, Ski. Okay, how many of you believe that too much value is placed on outward appearance and that we should pay more attention to who the person is on the inside? Ah, you're all wrong. Pretty people always win. That's why I'm the captain.
More of an expert at exposing the moon. Get out of your telescope! See if you find the one crater.